Alright, here we go for the most important things that first-timers in Greece need to know. Since I'm a tour guide in Athens, I get to meet lots of you, and so I've got a pretty good idea what tends to catch you off guard. Point number one, restaurants have a very limited amount of desserts on their menu, sometimes even no desserts at all. That's something that seems to disappoint many of you. The thing is, it's not that common in Greece to end your meal at a restaurant with something sweet. We do eat sweets, but it's more an afternoon kind of thing in between lunch and dinner. And we get those sweets from pastry shops that have a huge variety of delights. So if you want to try some Greek desserts, it will probably not be at a restaurant, but instead, for Athens, I recommend you go to Nancy's Sweet Home near Monastiraki or El Greco near Syntagma. In Santorini, I recommend Anna Patisserie. For Mykonos, it's Kyklammino. In Chania, it's Douroudouge, and in Iraklio, Aretousa. I'm going to make a video soon explaining everything about Greek desserts, so if you aren't subscribed yet, you know what to do. Point number two. Is tap water drinkable in Greece? Well, the answer is yes for the mainland, including Athens, but no for the islands. Why not on the islands? Well, there are two types of water that islands use. The first one is brackish water, meaning water pumped from a well which is near the coastline. So it's actually a mix of fresh water and seawater. That one, it's obvious you shouldn't drink it because it tastes pretty bad and salty. The other type of water that is being used on the islands is desalinated seawater, which means we pump water out of the sea. We squeeze this water through all sorts of filters to get rid of the salt. But the thing with this process is that it also removes all the healthy minerals that your body needs when drinking water, like magnesium, sodium, potassium, and all the others. And so drinking this desalinated water will over time make you feel very sleepy and weak because you're not replenishing your body's reserve of minerals, which is as important as the actual water itself. Now, is it okay to brush your teeth with these two types of water? Well, the answer is yes, it is safe. They dump a ton of chlorine before it goes into the network to kill potential bacteria. So no need to brush your teeth with bottled water like I hear so many tourists do. Tap water is fine. So knowing all of this, at the restaurant, will you be charged for water or are you going to get free tap water? Well, on the islands it's going to be charged for sure since tap water isn't drinkable, so it will have to be a bottle. In Athens, in theory, you get free tap water, but many restaurants in the city center know that you don't know, and so they put a plastic bottle on the table which you will be charged for. If that happens, you can ask to have tap water instead, and they shouldn't make a big deal out of it in theory. Speaking of bottled water, don't be surprised if your bottle cap stays attached to the bottle when you open it. Since 2024, all EU countries are required to only sell bottles with this feature. Why is that? Well, because bottle caps alone make up more than 10% of the plastic found floating on the ocean. And so keeping the cap attached means it's much more likely to get recycled along with the bottle instead of ending up in the ocean. So please don't be like all these tourists who desperately try to tear the cap from the bottle. It's supposed to be that way. Don't tear it off. Next point. Car rentals. What companies do I recommend you rent your car from, whether that's in Santorini, Mykonos, Crete, wherever? Well, the three most affordable and trustworthy companies I recommend are Volta, LMO, and Auto Union. Now, super important. You need to get full coverage when renting a car in Greece. It's very easy to get a few very tiny scratches left and right when driving around Greece's narrow and bumpy alleys. And if you're not fully covered, you're gonna have to pay like 300 euros per scratch. So imagine. Now, the thing is, if you get full coverage insurance directly from the rental company, you're going to pay a lot of money for that. And so the clever system is to put your car through a platform instead. I always use rentalcars.com, and their insurance fees are much, much lower because they're a much bigger company than these tiny car rentals, and so they can afford having lower prices. Just to give you an example, to rent a car in Crete for 4 days, full full coverage on Volta's website is 72 euros per day, while on rentalcars.com it's 42 euros in total for all 4 days. That's like 7 times cheaper. It's an insane difference. So yeah, I'm gonna leave an affiliate link for rentalcars.com down below. If you plan on booking a car in Greece and you want to support me at the same time, feel free to use it. All right, what apps should you install on your phone before coming to Greece? Well, there are 2 that are pretty essential and 2 more that I will give you as a bonus. The essential ones are WhatsApp, which is the texting and calling app that all Greeks use, and FreeNow to call a taxi. You can use Uber if you want, but it's going to be a bit more expensive, and there's not as many taxi drivers registered on Uber, so you might have to wait a little longer. And then the 2 bonus apps are eFood, which is Greece's equivalent of Uber Eats, so it's for food deliveries, and Bounce, which is for finding a place nearby to drop off your luggage for a few hours or a few days. It's actually very nice app. It's not Greek, but it's great. I've been using it in many different countries and it's really good. Next point, there are no direct flights between islands. So if you want to go from Santorini to Mykonos or Santorini to Crete, like many people want to do, you will have to do all of this by ferry. And if for whatever reason you don't want to take a ferry, well, then you will have to fly, but with a layover in Athens, which is going to take a while. I'm leaving the 2 links down below for the airline company that I recommend in Greece and for the ferry booking platform that all Greeks use. Next point, the islands are very windy. That's something I keep repeating in my Santorini and Mykonos videos, yet all the people on my tours in Athens are like, we saw your videos where you're talking about the wind, but wow, Santorini was way windier than we expected. So yeah, please hear me when I say it's very, very windy. So that means don't pack clothes that don't do well with winds. If you're wearing a hat, try to have one with a neck strap so it doesn't fly away. And keep in mind that evenings can get pretty chilly on the islands because as soon as the sun has set, with that wind, it's suddenly very cool. It is more essential than you think to book a guide for the Acropolis Museum. That's something I hear from lots of people. Sure, there are signs next to everything, but it's only a few lines and it doesn't give you that much information. So if you're going to book a guided tour of the Acropolis site, then I recommend you get the package of the Acropolis plus the Acropolis Museum. This is a group tour for that, and this one is private. The links are down below as well. Now, a question I get all the time. How hot does it get in Greece and what type of clothes should you bring? Well, if you're coming in June, July, August or September, you can expect around 35 degrees in Athens and on the islands around 27, 28 degrees. Because yeah, the islands are substantially cooler than Athens. That's something not many people know. So in terms of clothing, if you're coming during one of these 4 months, pack the lightest, most breathable clothes you have. The good thing about Greece is that it's dry heat with humidity levels around 20-25%. So it's hot, but it's still breathable. Now, it is important that you still pack a sweater or wind jacket of some sort if you're going to the islands, because as I just said, the evenings in Santorini and Mykonos do get pretty chilly because of the strong winds. Regarding rain, it usually doesn't rain a single day between June and September, so for 4 months. If you're coming during shoulder season, so April, May, and October, or maybe even early November, then you can expect around 25 degrees in Athens and 22 on the islands. And per month, it typically rains 3-4 days on average. So all in all, it's still very decent weather, but there is chance of maybe a tiny bit of rain. For those months, you need both summer and mid-season clothes, especially on the islands where the evenings will definitely be very chilly. If you're coming during off-season, so November till March, temperatures will range between 10 and 20 degrees, and it rains like 5 days per month. All right, something not everyone knows, you are allowed to drink alcohol in public. This is the case in pretty much all European countries, except for Scandinavia, I believe. What you're not allowed to do is to bring any drinks other than water in archaeological sites and museums. So if you're gonna have a beer while walking, great, no need to cover it, that's legal, but make sure to finish it before entering the Acropolis. Next up, and this is a really important one, Athens is crazy slippery. These marble slabs are the slickest thing you've ever stepped on, so pack the grippiest shoes you own. You do not want to twist your ankle on your first day in Greece. Next, how about the tipping culture in Greece? Do Greeks tip? Well, the answer is yes. Greeks do tip around 10%. However, we only tip where there is service involved. So we will definitely tip at a restaurant, for a taxi ride, a tour guide, but we will not tip for street food, for instance, since there's not really any service or talking involved. Many tourists wonder what these grooves are that you see on all the sidewalks in Greece. Well, this is for the visually impaired to find their way. It's called tactile paving. Lines going in the same direction as you mean you can walk straight with no obstacle. Little dots means there's a change of direction, and lines facing you means danger, usually before crossing the street. All right, let's talk about toilets now. Are there any public toilets in Greece? Well, in museums and major archaeological sites, yes, there will be restrooms free of charge. But apart from that, don't expect to see a lot of public toilets on the street like you have in so many other countries. The way it works in Greece is you enter a restaurant or a cafe and you ask if you can use the restrooms there. In Athens, they nearly always let you go for free. On the islands, because everything is much more tourism-based there, they typically ask you to buy something from them, in which case you just buy a bottle of water for like €1 and you're good to go. Next, do Greeks speak English or should you start learning Greek? Well, don't worry. Yes, we do speak English. We're not France or Italy. If, however, you want to be nice and you want to be able to say hello or thank you in Greek, then this is what you should know. Kalimera for good morning, Kalispera for good afternoon, Evcharistom is thank you, and Yamas means cheers. All right, for more information regarding my tours in Athens, here's my Instagram page, and I'm going to leave you with these two videos. The best things to do in Rome, because yeah, apparently I'm starting to cover Italy as well. Stay posted. And the best hotels in Santorini with the super famous caldera view. Beautiful places. And there you go. That's it for today. Hope you liked it. See you next one. Bye.